The PFL and Don Davis have ruined Patricio Pitbull's career, and also other Bellator fighters too. Last month, I made a video about this topic, and since then, there has been no retribution from PFL or Don Davis. Actually, what we've seen instead, Don Davis has doubled down and completely disregarded Bellator fighters' complaints, saying, oh, they're just complaining about the lack of fights. And he said that no Bellator fighters would have even had matchups booked in 2024 because Bellator didn't have any scheduled events when PFL acquired them. This is blasphemy and this is disrespect, especially when not only are you disrespecting guys in your roster, but you're disrespecting a champion and a legend. Patricio Pitbull is one of the greatest fighters to never fight in the UFC, and I would say he is the GOAT of Bellator MMA. The fact that he has been brushed over and pushed to the side by the PFL and is giving no priority treatment, not even priority treatment, just sensible, humane treatment as an employee to the organization is an absolute disgrace. And I hate to see it. It infuriates me. Seeing Pitbull at 37 trying to get fights, right, and make a final run towards the end of his career, but instead it's just being completely stalled. In my mind, he's a marquee star, and the PFL should be using him for multiple events a year, whether it's the Super Fight series that they're trying to do or if it's Bellator events. Oh yeah, remember the 8 events that were promised by PFL for Bellator? We got 5. Multiple cancellations. Patricio Pitbull, unfortunately, one of those canceled events, right? He fought one time in 2024. In the end of his run, to be pushed aside like this is horrible to see, and I'm saddened by it. And there's not many people talking about this. This is probably one of the most underrated news stories in MMA right now, and I have to stand on business and stand up for Pitbull and the Bellator fighters once again. Last month, it was about PFL ruining Bellator fighters' careers. Nothing has changed. Things, in my opinion, have only gotten worse. Now, if you didn't see that last video, I do suggest you watch it. I'll drop it in the description if you're curious. But if not, I'll tell you how everything got started. Patricio Pitbull literally went to Twitter to complain that he could not get a fight in Bellator. I haven't fought since February. I wanted to fight 3 times this year, but I was told I'd have to wait until December 31st. And I found out online. The Bellator goes finding out online that his opponent's fighting someone else, and he's not fighting December 31st. They had a replacement, but then they end up canceling the fight. He's spending money to train and get ready to go, and they're like, oh, actually, no, we got nothing for you. Other fighters have complained too, but Pitbull is up there as the most notable. Him and also Patchy Mix, who's the bantamweight champ and definitely the best bantamweight outside of the UFC, a savage in Bellator. It's really sad that these guys are being mistreated like this. There's actually a lawsuit that's ongoing against PFL. Maybe Patricio will join this lawsuit. Now, he has asked, actually, he's begged for the PFL to simply release him so he can explore other options. They're not giving him that option. He's got 1 fight left on the contract. He's also going to be locked into the contract, even without a fight, until middle of 2025, quarter 2. He did an interview with Ariel Helwani, which was so underrated, criminally underrated. It only got about 10,000 views and like 211 likes. And one of those likes is mine. I want to play this interview and go through some very important things that Patricio Pitbull has said, which honestly, I'm saddened for him. To see a guy put it on the line time and time again and have great success and be mistreated at the end of his run by, in my opinion, incompetency that exists over in PFL and also arrogance too, it makes me upset. It should make you upset. Like, even if you're just a UFC fan, you have to respect what Patricio Pitbull has done in MMA, and you damn sure should hope the best for him. I would love to see him fight in the UFC. You know that's what he wants. Really, he just wanted to fight, but now there's no retribution. We're going to go through this Helwani interview. I am going to play the key clips. I'm going to elaborate with my thoughts on everything that is said. Let's start it off with clip number one. It's Patricio Pitbull discussing his fight cancellation and, event cancellation as well that led him to fighting just one time in 2024. Let's play the clip.
Them canceling my fight, they had me wait until December 31st and let me know with a few weeks notice that my fight was canceled. And I actually found out the change of opponents on the internet, and then they said there would be no event. And there are a few other things that I believe we're going to address this during this conversation.
So I wanted to.
How infuriating is that? How do you just let them find out online? You cancel a whole event. If I am PFL and I love combat, you guys know I love combat. If I'm running PFL, I'm saying, damn, Pitbull, we'll let you fight in Ryzen at their end of the year show. We will do anything to get you a fight to close out 2024. He wanted to fight multiple times. He only fought once. We need to at least deliver 2 fights. That's what's promised by Don Davis. That's what's promised by the PFL, but that's not the reality. Why was the show canceled? Because that's what a lot of us are wondering. Now, we can make our assumptions about it being financial, but you would assume, if anybody knows, it has to be Patricio Pitbull, right? Wrong.
I still don't know. I'm waiting to find out. They told us there would be 8 Bellator shows during the year. They only did 5, and no one really knows why.
Yeah. And
there's no intel and why. Funds are drying up potentially. They have no idea how to handle Bellator. There's a disregard for Bellator fighters. It's a prioritization of the PFL tournaments around the world. How many international events does PFL have put together? But you can't get Patricio Pitbull and other champions 2 fights? That's really what we're talking about. Why would you even take Bellator on if you're going to do that? 3 canceled events in 2024 is insane. So if you're a fighter in Bellator, you have 5 opportunities to fight. What are the odds that you're even going to get on those 5 cards? Could you imagine if the UFC did 5 cards a year? That's what Bellator did. It's insane. Now they might say, oh, well, Johnny Eblen fought twice. Yeah, one of those fights was a PFL Super Series event. They weren't both Bellator events. So if you're lucky enough that you find a matchup for the Super Series, maybe you fight twice. But if not, maybe you fight once. Maybe you don't even get fights. Unfortunate. Now, Pitbull, he wanted to fight multiple times. We'll play this next clip about the options that he was given. And he actually was very flexible with when he was willing to fight, but they just weren't flexible on making anything happen. Let's listen in.
I asked them because to fight in the middle of the year, but those were all booked. So I asked to fight in September against Pico, and they said they couldn't do that. And I had to choose either fight Pico in September or Shihiro in December, and I wanted to do both of those fights. So as I have a history of Shihiro, I chose to fight him first. But if it was up to me, I would have done those 2 fights this year.
So they had a refusal of allowing him to fight twice. Why not? Okay, you want to fight twice? Let's do it. Why are they limiting his opportunities? There's only so many events a year from them. And then he's like, okay, I have to settle on one. Well, I want to, try and avenge this loss against Suzuki, which was a short notice fight where he got beaten in a big upset. But if they run it back, I think Pitbull's got a damn good chance to win a rematch. But that's irregardless. That's irrelevant for really what this conversation is about. You're not going to let him fight twice. You're only putting one event as an opportunity for him to fight. But because he didn't pick Pico, now you cancel this event with Suzuki anyways. What are you doing, PFL? Let him fight twice. Pitbull needs to be as active as he wants. They said, oh, our events in the middle of the year are booked. Sorry, Pitbull. No, you create an opportunity for Patricio Pitbull on any card. That's what you do with especially a guy who's a long-reigning dominant champ, who's a legend of the organization. You give them priority treatment. I feel bad enough for the guys that aren't to Pitbull's status, but when you see how they're treating the GOAT of Bellator, my God, man, if you're just a contender, like you may never fight with them. You're just going to be locked into a contract for years. Now, he was asked about the current Bellator state and what he wants to do, and he answers that question in this next clip here, which I'll let play.
The Bellator that I helped build is no more. They even look like they changed the name. It's now Road to Dubai. So everything is much different than what it used to be. The history that I made in Bellator, that was beautiful, but it's a cycle that has come to an end. It's not the same place anymore. Things aren't working like they used to do. And okay. Fim do ciclo e eu acho que cada tem que seguir seu caminho. Sem nenhum problema. And I think we just have to move our separate ways, no strings attached.
Move our separate ways, no strings attached. He's asking for a release of contract because you are not living up to terms by giving him the amount of fights promised per year. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you give Pitbull what he's asking for. If he doesn't want to be there, an unhappy employee isn't a good one. Doesn't Don Davis preach being a fighter-first, fan-centric organization? Well, shit, Pitbull's a fighter, but he's getting brushed aside like he's absolutely nothing. Let's listen to Don Davis here. I believe this is the timestamp.
And we're a fighter-first, fan-centric company.
Are you really? That's me from last month with the first reaction to PFL ruining Bellator fighters' careers, but with no change, with no retribution, things only getting worse. I had to bring the fire a second time. Are you really? Yeah. Come on. Bullshit. This is not fighter first. This is big business shill corporate first that doesn't even understand combat sport. Don Davis is far from a fan of mixed martial arts. Listen, he himself has said he doesn't watch his fights. He don't pay attention. He doesn't watch combat. He's not a combat sports fan. He sees this as a big opportunity to make money. That's all. It's a disgrace that we're even in this spot in 2024 in MMA, and somebody like Pitbull, who I think has at least 3 good fights left in him, is getting pushed to the sidelines, and who knows if we ever get to see him fight again. I hope we do. More clips, because I'm going in depth on this one. Now, he was asked about fighting in January on this Road to Dubai series card, because now it's like, is it even Bellator anymore? I'm sure that Bellator is going to be officially dissolved in 2025, but they're like kind of clinging on to it with Usman Nurmagomedov as champ. And that card, they couldn't fit him in. Of course not. That's pretty much Russia versus Ireland card. Let's listen in.
Okay. No, they said no. So I'm waiting all this time and they said no to me.
So he was willing to fight. What are we doing? He's willing to fight in January. Why are you not putting him on that card? How stacked would it be? Usman Nurmagomedov in the main event. Paul Hughes, the challenger. Patricio Pitbull defending the featherweight belt on the card. Put that in the co-main event. Why not? Why would you not want to showcase Patricio Pitbull on your marquee event? I don't even understand it. I mean, I guess I do kind of understand, because I think what's not being said is the funds are drying up and they can't afford Patricio Pitbull. So therefore, if you can't even afford Pitbull, just let him go without issue. But instead now, you're trying to stifle Pitbull's career, hold him back from making bread, hold him back for a chance to fight to finalize his legacy. It's insane. Now, he was asked about having conversations with the higher-ups at PFL. Now, he talks only through Mike Hogan, who was like a Bellator exec or representative at one point. But now, you know, with PFL, like, he has no say on anything. And you can't even get in contact with the higher-ups like Murray and Don Davis. Let's listen in. The person we talked to is Mike Hogan, but he even has apologized to us a few times because he didn't have answers for some of our questions. Eu sinto realmente que ele quer ajudar, mas não está sobre, ele não está sobre o potencial dele, parece. I really feel like he wants to help us, but it's not something that is possible right now. So he can't even contact the higher ups. He's talking through somebody that's a middleman. How do you even do this to a champion of an organization? realistically a goat of an organization. Don Davis should get on the phone and talk to him, say, listen, we're going to do everything we can to get you a fight on this card. You want to fight here? Sure. We will create an opportunity for you, Pitbull. They won't do that. So, okay, if you don't have the funds, just let him go. It's January 7th at the time of this recording. As of right now, he's not been let go. Now, he was asked about his contract. How many fights does he have left? How much time does he have left? And we get our answer officially here.
O trabalho até aqui foi bem feito. I have one more fight and 4 to 5 months, whatever comes first. So I just wish we could get this done already. I don't have any intention to fight for them anymore. The work that I could do at Bellator has been done. Everything that I could do for this promotion was already made. And I guess it's time to move on.
So
Time to move on. I completely agree. This was 3 weeks ago, so he has maybe, 3 to 4-ish months left on his contract. So that means by April, May, he should be able to negotiate with other organizations since they have not just granted him his release, which he has literally begged for. Like, please, let me out of this contract. Like, he literally said, please, I wish all the success and that many fighters' lives be changed. It's good for the sport to have promotions with lots of events per year and that pay well. I hope every fighter can get at least 2 fights in 2025. That said, it's time I move on. Let's get it done, Don Davis. Let me out. Because he's flexing how many events they do. Don Davis is flexing how often they have fights. Oh, man, we got 30 events, 320 fights, 2025. But no, if you're a Bellator fighter, you're not even on that lineup. Don Davis disregarded everything in a social media post where he went over his setbacks of 2025. Honestly, right? I don't even really care to read 1, 2. All I'm looking at is 3. Look at 3. Let's zoom in to 3. Some Bellator star fighters complained on social media about not fighting, making PFL look like not meet our contracts. It's not even improper. It looks like it's not meeting our contract. It look like not meeting. You'd think the chairman of freaking PFL would have proper, English, would have passed English 1, but I guess not. That's besides the point. He's literally brushing you aside as a nothing. Like, yeah, shut up. Shut up, guys. Be quiet. Pipe down. They're complaining. They're just making us look bad. We're doing everything right. Gaslighting the fuck out of these Bellator fighters, specifically Patricio Pitbull. I think all of these Bellator champions that have been disrespected this year should band together and get the fuck out of these bullshit contracts with PFL. They're holding these guys' careers up. They're doing nothing for them. They haven't given any viable solution either. They say, oh, yeah, we might get you a fight here. Oh, sorry, it didn't work. We might get you a fight then. Oh, sorry, couldn't make it happen. Don Davis flexing. PFL has always provided 2 fights a year. When we acquired Bellator, they had 0 fight events scheduled. They're Bellator 210 fighters. They're 210 Bellator fighters in 2024. PFL stepped in and did the best we could. 2025, all fighters again get 2 fights. Sure. Evidence tells us otherwise. You're talking about, oh, they had no fights, but you acquired the promotion. You are fucking Bellator, PFL. Stop acting like they're a secondary thing. You own them. You are them. And here's him. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody besides Pitbull. This was actually really funny. Happy holidays. You got Francis Ngannou and Pete Murray and Don Davis all together. Francis Ngannou, so pro fighter. Francis, where are you on this situation? Where are you standing up for Patricio Pitbull and Patchy Mix and other Bellator fighters, Leonardo Higo, that are sitting on the sidelines without fights? Now you're not so fighter-centric because you got your bag. Was it really all about the fighters? Or is that just a bullshit character? Now I'm almost turning on Ngannou. I'm not trusting him either. He hasn't said shit. He hasn't said anything. Jake Paul, he's all pro fighter. He loves the fighters, man. Jake Paul, I'm pro fighter. The UFC doesn't pay, man. He hasn't said shit about Patricio Pitbull. He hasn't made a stink about it. So none of these guys that are under contracts with PFL that are big stars, and Ngannou selling 12,000 pay-per-views at best, big star. Jake Paul selling $50K, big star. I guess, the Mike Tyson fight, whatever. They're not saying anything. They don't have you guys' backs. If you're a Bellator fighter and you happen to be scrolling past this video, I'm sorry that these guys are all frauds, that they act like they're fighter first. They're their wallet first. They're you last. They don't give a fuck about you. I do, though. I do. I hope that some PFL execs see this video. I hope higher ups at PFL see it. I hope so. And I hope that you hear that there's fans that genuinely care. There's people that cover the game that actually give a fuck, that aren't afraid to stand up against the bullshit. It's a fraud of a promotion, fighter first. Don Davis doesn't watch fights. Don Davis doesn't care about fighting. He doesn't care about fighters. It's all bullshit, smoke and mirrors. I got another clip, because if you didn't see this clip, this is worse. If you're not already like, who is this Don Davis guy? Get him out of my face. He's a nerd. He doesn't understand fighting. He's a narcissist, right? Okay. This clip should get you. He was asked, what's his favorite MMA fight of all time? Listen to this response. The worst response of all time for a combat sports promoter. Time was the question. You can see it in the bottom.
Doctors don't watch medical shows. People are lawyers, don't watch legal shows on TV.
Doctors don't watch. He doesn't watch fights, yo. I was freaking out last month about this. I'm freaking out again now. I'm more upset now. It stings me worse now, because when you had the fighters all standing up, I'm like, okay, give PFL a few weeks or a month. They'll say something. I thought about making this video over the break, but I said, can I give it a little time? Maybe there's going to be a retribution. Well, it's January 7th. I released that video over a month ago. Nothing has changed. Patricio still don't got to fight. I don't even know if Bellator is existing in 2025. Wow. I'm frustrated. I'm not even done with this Pitbull interview. There's more things that I want to talk about with this Patricio Pitbull interview. I want to play more, but I got to go back and forth because there's just so much to discuss about this absolute disgrace of a situation that's happening to such a high-level fighter too. My God, man. Let's keep running up to the next clip, okay? So he asked for his release, and you would assume that a promotion that is fighter first, fan centric would say, you know what, you're unhappy here. We're sorry about that. We wish you the best. You can go. I wish. Let's listen.
Because it's, you are 37, so, time isn't infinite. We're wasting time here, no?
Yeah, so far all we have is, we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Nothing detailed, and they said they're working on a few things and they'll get back to us. We still don't have anything concrete from them.
Okay.
Nothing concrete from them. Nothing's changed, I don't believe, in the time being. We'll go on Patricio Pitbull's Twitter, right? He's asking for his release. He joins Helwani's show, right? Don Davis talking about he provides 2 fights a year. Patricio says, Bellator is PFL's property. Many fighters didn't fight a single time, and many like me only fought once. You said you'd honor everyone's contracts and give them 2 fights this year. You didn't. You cut over 70% of the roster and had many renegotiate their pay. Less pay. They're getting a pay cut with this PFL Bellator acquisition. As far as PFL providing everyone 2 fights this year, I really hope that's what's going to happen, and not because many more will be cut. I want PFL to succeed. It's good for the sport and for the fighters. That said, I want to leave right away. Can we agree to it this week? Chirps, nothing. You don't hear a thing. They don't say anything. No, nothing. Like, he's begging. He wants for Christmas his release. Please let him out. Anything else? My management team had a call with Pete Murray tonight, and despite making it clear my desire to leave and some of my reasons, even noticing my contract is up in May, PFL won't let me go and intends to hold me there against my will. Okay? You say you're fighters first, but decided to keep me hostage, Don Davis, Pete Murray? I want to pursue something else, but want me to fight in April and intend to enforce other clauses of my contract after it's up? How's that best for me? This is the issue. There's always a negotiation period. They're going to hold them fucking hostage longer, bro. If you're supporting PFL, I want you to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, do you support this? Do you support this bullshit? Watch GFL instead. Watch BKFC. If you want to watch promotions outside of the UFC, this is a shit style league, bro. It's getting run like a mafia. They're holding them hostage. It's really absurd and disappointing that I've come on X to voice all this. Do the right thing and release me. I was a Bellator fighter and it no longer exists. The promotion is gone and so should I. Haven't fought since March. They want me to fight in April, over a year of my life and career that I'll never get back. Why force me to stay? Focus on those that want to fight for PFMA and let me move on. I couldn't have said it better myself. One fight, Jeremy Kennedy, one fight. That's it. One fight. Braga withdrew from a fight he was supposed to have, right, in February. And then they created this opportunity for him on the Bellator Champion Series, right? 5 events in the year, 3 canceled events. You have 8 opportunities. You're not going to get guys fighting twice a year. And you're going to make them wait until April? How do we know you're not going to cancel another event? And then what happens? Oh, well, we have a renegotiation period. We're holding you hostage, Patricio Pitbull. Welcome to the fucking PFL Mafia. This is the PFL Mafia. This is crazy to me. It's a disgrace. Let the guy go. Let him go. Now, he talks about what he wants and where he wants to go. And I think you guys know where he wants to go. I'm sure you've heard. If you don't, well, here's your answer.
I just walk away. No, I want to fight different guys. I want to fight Max Holloway, Topuria, Diego Lopes, Volkanovski, all those guys that people said they wanted to see me fight against. What I had to do in Bellator already did, so I just want to move on.
So you said that there's one.
He said, hey, I want to go to the UFC. I want to fight at the true highest level of the game now. It's not like Patricio Pitbull is asking for anything that crazy. He's saying, listen, you guys don't have opportunities for me? Let me leave. Let me fight elsewhere. He doesn't even care about the money. He doesn't care how many millions PFL is willing to throw at his face, even though I doubt they will. They're probably all from the same pay. They're probably all from the same. I don't think they have the funds for him. Now, luckily, Patricio Pitbull seems to be in Dana White's good graces. I don't know if you guys saw this. Some of you may have overlooked it. It looks a little clunky. I think I got to zoom in more properly. Hey, listen, visit MMA Junkie today. There's their free advertisement of the day. And let's listen in to Uncle Dana talking about Patricio Pitbull. He was asked about it. He was asked about PFL. Let's listen to the minute-long clip.
Patricio Pitbull said earlier this week that he wants to leave the PFL and he would like to sign with the UFC. Is he someone you'd like to see on the roster?
Who said that?
Patricio Pitbull.
Oh, Pitbull. Listen.
Real quick, look at Dana White's smirk. He smiles. Oh, the Bellator champ wants to leave the PFL contract. PFL is talking about they're going to be the co-lead. They're coming for us. You could see Dana White with a happiness seeing the struggle, because he's a cynic, right? Which is great. It's funny. He's sadistic a bit, but that's good. That's why he's such a cutthroat businessman. It makes sense why he's loved and hated. But I also think the reaction is telling. He's excited for this. And I wouldn't be surprised if he would be excited to sign Patricio Pitbull. I would say it's almost a certainty that Pitbull would get picked up by the UFC if he's truly released from his Bellator contract. Let's listen a little more.
The last couple months, we've been talking a lot about the PFL. You know, they're canceling a lot of shows. I know that a lot of guys that are supposed to fight aren't fighting. And I mean, you guys know what the fuck's going on.
They're canceling events left and right. November, December, canceled events. Seems like they're rebranding it to being Champion Series, no longer Bellator. Bellator is essentially dead without being dead.
I'm not. You know, when you see that start to happen, you're running out of money. Things aren't looking good, and you're going to have people that want to jump ship. You know, these guys want to fight. You have a very limited time.
This right here is more him just talking about the limited window pro fighters have, which, you know, all of us know as fight fans. You know, there's a limited time period. But Dana White's interested in Pitbull. I think he's interested in picking up a couple of the best guys that Bellator has to offer. You know who else only got one fight in 2024? None other than Patchy Mix. He got to fight just one time, May of 2024. He fought against Magomedov. He won a hard-fought split decision. Since then, what do we see? Event canceled. The November event that I was talking about, he was supposed to defend his belt against Leandro Higo. Fight does not happen. Look at this canceled event, right? It was supposed to be him in the main. They didn't even put it together fully, right? They had, I don't know, a funding issue maybe? What really went on? We don't know for sure, right? It's a lot of smoke and mirrors of what potentially went on or did not go on. But I would assume that they don't have the dollar signs to pay these guys. So we have the champion of bantamweight also one fight, just one fight in 2024. It's not just Pitbull. He's not just an anomaly. This is a commonality. This is real shit, man. This goes deep, and there's more to talk about with this interview. It's not over yet. This is turning into like a freaking full episode, an in-depth episode right now of the saga of what's happening between PFL and Bellator champion Patricio Pitbull and others. I'm standing with the Bellator legends, man, as you should, bro. Let's keep playing clips. We got more, okay? He was asked about money, right? What about money? Like, it doesn't matter how much they offer you? Listen.
Right? And I already told them that even if they let my contract be up and they come up with much more money, whatever, I'm not interested, so I'm not signing it. And I'm not very young anymore, so time is of the essence. The longer I stay without a fight, I'm losing rhythm, and it's important for me right now to be active. So I just wish we could peacefully just shake hands and go our separate ways.
Now, for me, it's about legacy. You know?
Let him go. Let him go. We got the translator talking most of the time because Pitbull mostly speaks Portuguese. He speaks some English. I actually interviewed Pitbull on Moneyline several years back. It's not several, like 2-ish years back. And he was speaking some English there, but he also had Eric Albertine translating. But that's totally besides the point. Patricio Pitbull is willing to take a substantial pay cut to get to the UFC too. That's how bad he wants out of this shitty PFL situation, because he knows realistically, no matter how much they offer you dollar signs, you might not even fight for them. And I think his willingness to say, listen, let's peacefully call it and let me fight elsewhere. Why are we even sticking around in this BS? Why are we playing this game still? Now, he didn't go without bashing Don Davis, which is a banger moment. This is funny. I like that Pitbull bashed him a bit. Don Davis deserves to eat flack. When you are a CEO, chairman, founder, whatever the title is, of a fight league, and you say, I don't really watch fights, it makes me really question how much you give a fuck about fighting. I don't think you do. He gives no fucks. Let's listen to more.
Don Davis is an investor, he's a promoter, but he came out public saying he doesn't watch MMA, he doesn't watch the fights. So how come you have an MMA promotion and there are people not watching the fights? More interested they have watching us. They had a great brand in Bellator, which was already established. It was very big, and they decided to fold it and promote PFL. But they didn't keep up with their promises to honor their fighter contracts. They cut a lot of people.
That's the biggest thing. They cut a lot of people. They let people go. They then demanded renegotiations of pay cuts. They didn't give the higher paid fighters many opportunities like Patricio Pitbull or Patchy Mix, guys that I would assume are on the essential like max Bellator contract where they're definitely making pretty good paychecks, several $100,000s as, elite level champions should in a sport, especially, the face of Bellator, Patricio Pitbull. But they don't have the funds to back it, and that's what's going on here. But they're refusing to release Pitbull because of spite, because they also don't want to give the UFC one of the marquee guys from Bellator for them to make money with him. So instead, nobody's making money with Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull, you ain't making money either. You're going to sit on the sidelines and wait, and then we're going to try to renegotiate. We're not going to let you out for another 6 months. You're not going to fight for 2 years. You'll be 38 by the time you get back in there. Let's see how you perform then. That's not fighter first. That's a hostage situation. That's an MMA Mafia. The PFL should be facing substantial, backlash from true fighter first media, but ultimately that doesn't really exist, right? A lot of guys that do media, they want to be able to cover these PFL events and go, ban me from a PFL event. I've never been. I don't need to go. Okay? I'm not going to support this product here. I'll only go in protest of the damn fights at this rate because Patricio Pitbull needs out of this contract and it needs to happen quickly. Even his brother wants out of the contract too, but like he's off multiple losses. He doesn't really have much of a leg to stand on. He's going to have a damn hard time getting signed elsewhere. He's kind of fucked. Patricio coming off a win, champion, legend. He was then asked, well, were you at least given a chance to fight in the tournament? Which, come on, bro. A legend like Pitbull's not doing $1 million tournament. But regardless, let's listen in.
Fazer você lutar no torneio do PFL?
No, no,
No. Do you have any interest in that?
no, Ben.
No, thank you.
No. Even for the $1 million at the end, no interest.
Eu fui $1 million.
Você já viu isso, Pitbull?
I already make that at each fight that I make.
Okay, wow.
That's the other thing. Ariel Helwani is not really taking a side. He's kind of like giggling a bit. This is not a funny situation. This shouldn't be a smiley, jokey interview. Wow, yeah. They're just screwing you out of fights and ruining your career. Oh my God, PFL. They didn't mean to though. You know, did you want to do the tournament? Did you want to go do the tournament with them? Like you could do that. What about $1 million? How out of touch are you, Helwani? What are you talking about, bro? Get emotional. Truly take the side of the fighter. He's playing the fucking corporate shield too because he knows he's in good with Jake Paul, right? So he can't say too much. He's got to appear to be a free media, right? He's got to appear to be the voice of the fighter. No fucking way. No way at all. The voice of the fighter is more edgy. The voice of the fighter is me. I'm a little more edgy with it, and that's how it has to be. That's the truth of really being voice of the fighter. You got to get pissed off. You got to get emotional a bit. You have to stand your ground. Patricio laughed at that because like he makes $1 million a fight. He's going to fight like a fucking prospect in $1 million tournament. All the matches he had, if that's how he went out in his career, that would be a disgrace. Having to fight 4 times in 8 months. Not on his schedule. Oh, we'll just throw you into the circuit. Let's just throw you into the season. It got bad at the end of his too. Like we got like 2 clips left and the last 2 were rough because you literally have a champion, dominant champion, combat legend, right? Brazilian legend begging. He's begging to be released.
Fight the guys in the UFC and see what's there for me.
Okay.
Please, Don Davis, release me.
There.
Please, Don Davis, calls him by name. Release me. We've seen it on Twitter. A lot of it on Twitter. He's asking, but they won't oblige. He signed a contract with Bellator. The contract states they give me fights. They did. PFL bought Bellator. They gave me 1 fight. Canceled a fight on a week's notice, mid-camp. That's not honoring the contract. He's done his part. He's completely right. At least some fans are supporting him, man. We have plans for Pitbull. We want to honor our contract to give him a fight April 13th. 13 months after he last fought for us because we're unable to give him a fight before that. What day of April? To be determined. What's the location? To be determined. Who's the opponent? To be determined. Yeah, real plans. There's no plans. There's no plans. He doesn't even care about money. He just wants to fight. Patricio wants to step back into the damn cage, right? And showcase his skill set against the best guys in the world, which he should absolutely be allowed to do. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I did not think that we would see the day of such a high caliber, dominant MMA legend begging to be released of a contract and begging to continue fighting in 2024. Now it's 2025. Nothing's changed. He was asked about what he wants, though. And as the Bellator champion, I'm not surprised that he called for this. You'll hear in a second, and then I'll give my elaborate thoughts on it. Let's play the clip.
Champion like champion.
So you versus Ilia, or the winner of Ilia versus Alex Volkanovski.
He wants to fight for the UFC belt, which I don't know if they'd give him that on a debut, but I do think they'd give him a big fight. There's a lot of huge opportunities for him. He has a win over Michael Chandler. He's gone tooth and nail with like all of the best guys that Bellator has ever had to offer. He's done right by Bellator for years and years and years and years. I've watched pretty much his whole Bellator career unfold. At one point, if maybe you don't know this about me, I was covering Bellator when they were at like a high point. At one point, I was a big Bellator fan. I tune into all the events, and I was an advocate to watch Bellator because I thought they had great talent and good fights. But since, the end run of Bellator, they fired all of their promotion team and let a lot of people go. And they have essentially cashed out. And then, the PFL acquired them and they cashed out. So they're doing nothing with it. They're just holding these guys hostage. They're making them beg for fights. They're making them beg for a release of a contract. Like, what are we doing? Give Patricio Pitbull his flowers and respect and let the man go and find fights. I want to see him fight in the UFC. Who doesn't? I want to see him have a chance. If you're really a fighter-first company, you'd be okay letting the fighter go. But you know why I know that's bullshit? Kayla Harrison leaving PFL and going to the UFC, all Don Davis did was throw shade. Right? All Don Davis did was throw shade at Kayla leaving for easier fights and didn't want to be the face of the promotion, couldn't handle the heat, yada do. Don Davis is a very flawed character. As much shit as Dana White gets, Don Davis is truly the bad guy, okay? Because he puts the face of the good man, the hero face, the face of the hero. But behind closed doors, the villain is him. Let Patricio out of this damn contract. Enough of this crap. Patricio, Patchy Mix, even contenders like Ruffian Stotts, they deserve to fight. Stotts fought one time in 2024. It just doesn't happen, man. These events get canceled left and right. They're inconsistent as hell. High-level guys deserve the chance to get inside of the cage. Freaking Stotts is forgotten too. 36 years old is Stotts. He's getting one fight in 2024. He'll be lucky to get one fight in 2025. Now, if you're a fighter with Bellator, I suggest that you stand on business. I suggest that you stand up for yourself. If you're a Bellator fighter and shit, you want to talk to me about it, we'll post it on the channel. I'll give you guys the limelight. I'm here to support fully the Bellator fighters and specifically Patricio Pitbull to be freed of this mafia hostage situation with the corrupt PFL. I hope that it happens. You should too. Definitely in the comments, drop a W. We need to get the algorithm going on this video because it's a news story in MMA that is not nearly trending enough because it is massive news, but because it's not UFC, it's placed in like a smaller niche market. But this is, supposedly the co-lead organization, which at least is claimed by Don Davis. Acting like this is nowhere near co-lead. This is a disgrace. Let him out. Let Patricio go. Hashtag free Patricio Pitbull. Hashtag free Pitbull. You might have to do hashtag boycott PFL because this is far from fighter first. This is fighter last. This is company first. And actually, I think this is an act of spite against both Patricio Pitbull and, probably the UFC, who would be willing to sign him and give him opportunities. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments. This is a very urgent and important video. I waited a while to make it because I wanted to put everything together properly so I could really stand on business with some concrete evidence of the wrongdoings of PFL. If you haven't seen the video last month that I did talking about PFL ruining Bellator fighters' careers, that will be linked in the description. You can check that out too. That featured Gegard Mousasi in his lawsuit that he's now joined against the PFL because they did not honor his contract. Dishonorable promotion, true corruption, and something in the fight game we need to band together and stand against. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash the like button, and if you're new, subscribe it up. Much love to each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.